Hello everyone, happy Monday. It's Becky from Keats Kitchen, and oh my goodness, I haven't been on here in a while and I have missed doing this and missed all of you. So I've been traveling, went down to Arizona, and also it's spring here, so I've been putting my fairy garden in and my regular garden out, just outside all the time. It's lovely. But I thought I need to do a video. Today I'm going to show you how to make churros. I did take a cooking class about a month ago, and it was a class for pâte à choux. And what pâte à choux is like cream puffs or eclairs, the puff that's the shell. And we got a little bonus in the class and learned how to make churros too. I will show you how to make the cream puffs / eclairs, but I'm going to start with churros because they're so good and they're really, really easy. So, and a big shout out and thank you to Jean, the lady that taught the class. She's amazing, and her cooking style reminds me so much of my little grandma. And so it's very endearing to me to take a class from her at Love to Cook in Logan, Utah. So anyway, I'm going to go over all of my ingredients for the churros, and then I'll get cooking. So to start, I have a ½ cup of water and a ½ cup of milk, and I use the vitamin D whole milk. I just think it makes it taste better. Some salt and some sugar and 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter, and I've cut this into pieces because I'm going to put some ingredients along with the butter in a saucepan, and it just distributes more evenly and melts easier. Okay, and then 3 eggs and some cinnamon. Now at the end, when we're done cooking the churros, we're going to roll them in cinnamon and sugar. So in this I have 1 cup of sugar plus 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. But I'll remind you of that again when we get to that part. So anyway, I'll be back and we will start to cook some churros. All right, I am ready to move forward. So I do have a saucepan here. You don't need a really big one. So I'm going to put in the water and milk, and looking at my directions, salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then I'm going to add the sliced up pieces of butter. Turn my heat on. Now I'm just going to let this get hot enough to where it simmers. You don't want it to boil. It'll happen really fast and get foamy, so keep an eye on it. And as soon as it starts to simmer, I will come back and add the flour. Okay, this is starting to simmer. I don't know if you can see it. You don't want it to come to a full boil, but what I'm going to do here now is remove this from the heat. Sure you can see that. And then I'm going to add my 1 cup of flour. And stir that up well, and it should be like the consistency of mashed potatoes once you get the flour stirred in. Okay, so I have all the flour mixed in, and what I'm going to do is put it back on the heat. Now that seems weird, but this is French baking for you. So I'm going to cook this dough mixture for about 3 to 5 minutes. once it starts to, well, after about a minute or two, it'll form a residue on the pan, and you just keep scraping that and blending it in, and that's what it is supposed to do. So I'm just gonna let this cook for about probably 5 minutes. This has been cooking for 5 minutes, so it is ready. And now what I'm going to do is transfer this to my stand mixer and put on the mixing paddle. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to put this on low speed for about probably 1 to 2 minutes and let this cool. And then I'll be adding the eggs. This has been mixing for about 3 minutes and it has cooled down considerably. So now when I add the eggs, they won't cook and scramble. So what I'm going to do is add just 1 egg at a time. And before I add the rest of the eggs, I'm going to add 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon. And 1 more egg. Turn that up just a bit. And then the last egg. I'm going to let that mix real well, probably for about a minute. I'll be back. Okay, the churro mix is all mixed up and ready, so I just grabbed a spoon and I'm scraping down the edges, scraping the bottom, just to make sure it's all mixed. And the next step is to put all of this into a piping bag. And I'll be back in a bit to show you how to do that. Okay, I'm ready to put the churro dough into a piping bag. And so I have a bag here along with a tip. Now, this one's a little small. I'm actually waiting on a churro tip to come from Amazon, but it's not here yet. So I'm just gonna show you with this one. They'll come out a little skinnier than usual, but they're still so good. And when that does come in today, I will do a little segment on the tip and show you the size, but you can use any size that you want really. So I'm just gonna cut off probably about 1.5 inches of the piping bag. Put the tip in. Make sure that's nice and tight. And then I have a wide mouth glass here. This is a little secret that'll make your life a little bit easier filling the piping bag. Make sure you can see that. Okay, so now I'm ready to fill this up, and all of this dough will not fit the first time, so you're gonna have a couple, you're gonna refill it again before you finish it all. So, okay, so just going to fill up this piping bag with most of the churro dough. Also, I have an electric skillet here filled with, let me show you. Filled with about 1/2 gallon of vegetable oil. You can use whatever oil you'd like. Some people prefer coconut, avocado, but I am using vegetable oil because that is what I learned to cook with for this recipe. So anyway, and I've heated it to about 350 degrees. Finish putting this in the piping bag. This is really interesting because I had no idea that churros were made this way. So, okay, I'm gonna wait for my oil to get to 350, and then I will come back and I will show you how to cook these beauties. Push this dough down. There we go. I'll be back. Okay, oh, let me move this pan so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so this is the really cool part. So what I'm gonna do is just pipe strips of the dough into the oil and fry them. So, and then you'll need some scissors too. So I hope you can see this. I'm just squeezing in. See how that fries right up. And snip it off. I'm going to try to do about 5 churros in this batch here. Squeeze it in. Interesting, huh? Yep. I guess you could bake them too, or even bake them in an air fryer. I've only done it with the oil. Do one more here. Now let these fry for a couple minutes till they're golden brown. Okay, these are looking like they're about done. So I have a paper plate lined with paper towel here. And I'm just going to remove these. Children love these. I remember taking my son to Disneyland when he was little. And that's all he wanted to eat were churros. So we nicknamed him the Churro Kid. He loves churros. He's 26 now. I made some the other day, gave them to him, and loves them just as much. So, okay, so I'm going to immediately put these in cinnamon sugar and put them on a different plate. So I'll be right back. Here's my cinnamon sugar mixture. So there's 1 cup of sugar with 2 teaspoons of cinnamon in this. So I'm just going to, whoops, that one broke. Put these in here while they're still pretty hot. And just coat them real good with the cinnamon sugar mixture. And then I've got a separate cookie sheet that I'm putting these on. And like I said, these are a little skinny, but my piping tip is not here yet from Amazon. Okay, do this again. You just coat it real good with the cinnamon sugar. And voila! You have churros. Cha-cha-cha. Here's my timer. Alexa, stop the timer. I have sourdough bread in the oven. Today is a day of baking. And I owe y'all a dandelion jelly recipe. I have not forgot. I've just been busy and I've been out of town too, so. Okay, coat these real good. Okay, this is the tip you should use to make churros, and the number on it is 9FT. 9FT. So it's a little bit bigger. I wish I would have waited to get it, but they still turned out really good. So I would recommend using this bigger one. My next batch will be used with this. And here they are. Look at these. They're, like I said, they're a little skinny, and some of them aren't straight, but they're so delicious. And I'm going to give a bunch of these to the cute little kids in the neighborhood. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial today on making churros. It's good to be back. Summer might be a little bit slower. Well, in fact, I know it will. I'll be making a lot of preserves and some other things for my market that I have here during the summer, my Park Meadow Market. And that starts in June, the last Saturday of June. And I will advertise that on all my social media platforms on where it's at. And I have several really good vendors lined up for the market. So anyway, thank you for popping in today. And I will be back very soon with another recipe. Have a lovely day. Mwah. Love you all. Bye-bye.